Nebraska fans, let's sit down and have a truthful and honest conversation. How good is Dylan Raiola really? What has he proved to us within the first 3 weeks of the season? Because I'm going to be very honest with you, there are a lot of misconceptions going on right now. A lot of people say he's underrated, overrated, everywhere else in between, and I am sick and tired of a lot of people nationally disrespecting him, whether it's ESPN, beat reporters, CBS, all of that. So we're going to dive into the stats, we're going to dive into the film, the pros, the cons, the importance of the Michigan game, what he needs to do in order to get the victory, what it means for his legacy, and everything else you need to know. So really quick, this is a very honest video. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm not going to have a filter. Hit that like button if you're fired up. And also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? For daily content talking Huskers, it's no brainer. It takes 2 seconds. Join this family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's have an honest conversation. How good is Dylan Raiola really? I'm going to be very truthful in this video. Okay, we're going to dive into the stats, the film, the pros, the cons, how important the Michigan game is. But I want to start off by saying this. To all the ESPN beat reporters, the CBS writers, all of these personalities on TV who have constantly disrespected Nebraska, you are going to wake up very soon. You are going to wake up when it comes to Dylan because they've treated him like he is the troll under the bridge. I'm just going to go to Josh Pate, and I respect Josh Pate and I respect his show. But just a couple weeks ago, before the season started, he did not rank Dylan Raiola as a top 30 quarterback in America. And guess who he put number 1? DJ Lagway. Guess who threw for 5 interceptions last week? DJ Lagway. Guess who people are calling a bust? It's not Dylan Raiola, it's DJ Lagway. And not here to disrespect DJ. He's still going to be a good quarterback. But the fact of the matter is they have rose up every single quarterback in America. They've rose up DJ, Cade Klubnik, Mark Gronowski, Dante Moore. It doesn't matter who these people are. Okay, they treat all these quarterbacks like they're legendary, like they're prized possessions. And they treat Dylan like he's nothing. So to all these ESPN beat reporters, wake up and give our guy some respect. But at the exact same time, Dylan's not a perfect quarterback, okay? And he's not top 10 right now. So let's sit down and have this conversation. How good is Dylan actually? Because I'll tell you this right now. The Michigan game will define his legacy. He's a top 20 quarterback. He's made that clear with his IQ decision-making. We'll get into it, okay? But there's only so much you can do against inferior teams. Beating Cincinnati, that's cool, right? Beating Houston, Christian, Akron, that's cool. But in order to be a great quarterback, you need to rise up in the biggest moments. You need to beat great teams in great games in great moments. He's not done that so far. Maybe you could say Colorado last season really didn't win that game because of Dylan. We won because of the defense. So Dylan doesn't have that signature win just yet. Okay, that changes on Saturday. So let's start off with the pros and the cons, and then what will happen if we win versus Michigan. But what happens if we lose, and what does that mean for Dylan's legacy? Okay. What have been the pros of Dylan so far? What has he improved at from last year? What has he struggled at compared to last season? And so much more. Number 1, Dylan Raiola's short yardage accuracy has been phenomenal. People really don't talk about it as much as they should. It's been very much improved. His short yardage accuracy was not great last year, right? There'd be times where Jacory would be on a slant down the middle, or Isaiah Nair, or Jamal Banks, and he'd overthrow them. Or what would happen a lot of times when he'd loft that ball in there and he'd throw a hospital pass, and it would be dropped, or our wide receiver would get lit up. So that's honestly been something that has been very much improved. His short yardage accuracy is great. So this year when Dane Key's running wide open, or honestly Nyziah Hunter, okay, he hits him in the numbers with a bullet pass, not a loft. So the accuracy has been a lot better. It's been pinpoint. Okay, and one thing also that he's very much improved, this brings me to the second point, the mobility. And I want to make this very clear around Dylan. There was a huge misconception in the offseason from Nebraska fans. Nebraska fans, they don't really know what to expect. But they said that Dylan Raiola is going to be a dual threat quarterback, that when he loses weight, he's going to be run a lot more. He's going to, he's going to run around a 4.6, 4.7. Like, Dylan's not a fast quarterback. Him losing weight doesn't change things. But what I've been a lot more impressed when it comes to Dylan has been, he's been a lot better at getting outside the pocket and scrambling. Not necessarily with his legs and getting 5-10 yards, but he scrambles to extend the play and use his arm to find somebody alongside the hash marks to get a game of 15 or 20. That's when Dylan's at his best. When he was at his best in high school at Buford, it was when he was making plays off script, off a broken play, using his legs to extend it. We've seen that a lot more so far this year than what we saw in 2024. And then it's the boring stuff people don't talk about, which is why I believe Dylan's elite. or not elite, but good so far. It's the IQ. The fact that he has a completion percentage of 77%, the pocket presence, the progressions, the connection with not just one wide receiver. Last year, he had that problem. Like, he really only had a couple favorites, right? He really liked Isaiah Nair. He really liked Thomas Fidone and liked Jacory Barney. Those were really his favorites last year. But he didn't really have as good of a connection with Jamal Banks, or you go down the line, Jalen Lloyd. The difference on Dillon this year is that he has a connection with every receiver on the team. Okay. That's huge. In order to be a productive quarterback, you need to be able to hit every single receiver, not have a favor, right? Dillon's shown that ability. His head's always on a swivel. And last but not least, people don't talk about this enough. The reason why Dillon has shown his improvement is because of Dana. That was a match made in heaven. So thank you, Dana, for coming to Nebraska, staying here, implementing your offense, because I'm telling you, Dana plays to his strengths. He gives him weapons. He lets him shine. He's always trying to find ways Dillon can improve. He's a perfectionist. If we still had Marcus Satterfield as our offensive coordinator, Dillon would be stuck in purgatory, being just an average quarterback. But with Dana now here, he gives him the opportunity to be that guy we thought he was going to. But he's not perfect. There's a reason he's not top 10 just yet. Number one, that Dillon needs to improve this Saturday, specifically we need to see this, is the deep ball accuracy. Okay. And that was the issue last year. Arguably, Dillon lost us 3 games last season off of one play. Okay, he overthrew Luke Lindenmeyer in the Illinois game that would have won us the ball game on a wide open touchdown. He overthrew Jalen Lloyd on a wide open post route on the first drive of the Iowa game that probably won us the game. And he overthrew Jamal Banks against Ohio State in a very close ball game, fourth quarter, that would have won us the game. Okay, so if you go back to those 3 plays in particular, if it would just work for his deep ball accuracy, we might have won. Again, it's all woulda, coulda, shoulda. Now, he has partially improved his deep ball accuracy, but it's still not to the rate we need. Okay, like you go back to last week, he underthrew Dane Key by 10 yards on that post route. Granted, it was against the wind, but TJ Lateef made the exact same throw against the wind, and he hit him in the number. So if TJ can do it, why can't Dillon? And then he underthrew Nyziah Hunter week 1 on a go route versus Cincinnati that could have been a huge chunk play. So I saw that say this. I'm going to be nitpicky when it comes to Dillon. I'm going to be honest. I believe Dillon could be a great quarterback, elite quarterback. So if Dillon, needs to improve something, I'm going to say it, right? Especially when we see it on film constantly. When you have the kill shot against a really good team, when there's somebody wide open on a chunk play, you got to hit him. And Dillon hasn't shown that ability. That needs to change versus Michigan. And also, this is the big question, and we'll get this answer against the Wolverines. What happens when Dillon plays against really strong defenses and goes up against a really strong pass rush? Because last year he struggled. But we haven't seen that so far this year. Cincinnati's not a good team. And a lot of Nebraska fans, we always up the level, of the teams we play. We act like Cincinnati's going to be a world beater. Cincinnati's not good. Okay, we don't have to sugarcoat it. Okay, they barely beat Bowling Green 2 weeks ago. Cincinnati will win 5 games this year. Maybe 6, maybe 7. Okay, we should have beat Cincinnati by a lot more. I bring that up to say he really hasn't played a good defense so far. That's going to be a different story against Michigan. So what's Dillon going to do when he's under pressure? Okay, when there's guys in his face. Will he throw the ball away? Will he throw the ball in harm's way? Or will he be wise, find the open man, or maybe potentially just take a sack, which honestly might be the best case scenario. Sometimes it's better to just take a sack than to throw the ball in harm's way, try to make something happen, be the hero. Okay, so we're going to get an answer on Saturday, but that's been a question about him. So overall, how good is Dillon really? He's a top 20 quarterback, top 15, and that's really, really good. But I go back to this. When we got Dylan Raiola on that faithful day, when he flipped from the Georgia Bulldogs to here, what we were envisioning was not for him to be just a normal top 20 quarterback. We were not envisioning him beating Cincinnati and beating Houston Christian by 1 million points. That's cool, but that was all expected. When we got Dylan Raiola, we envisioned in our mind the 5-star quarterback leading us into battle against a top 25 team like a Michigan, like a Penn State, like a USC, and winning and bringing Nebraska back to glory. That's what we all envisioned. So he gets that opportunity. This is his arrival. The nation's watching us. Okay. And all these ESPN pundits, these people who write articles who are getting paid cents, they're getting paid nothing, but they still find ways to disrespect Dillon. This is the time you shut them up, right? And you prove to everybody that, hey, you're that guy. You're that guy that you were coming out of Buford. Okay. So if he does meet the expectations, if he does rise to the occasion, if he finds a way to get this victory for Nebraska, and as we all know, quarterback is the only position where they can rise everybody's play above them. They can will you to win. So we have not had that in a very long time. But if Dillon is that elite guy we thought he's going to be, we don't have to play perfect against Michigan. His play will elevate us alone. That's rare. That's a rare trait, but the best quarterbacks can do that. So if we beat Michigan, what does it look like for him and his legacy? He's proved to everybody, not only in himself, that he's a top 10 guy, that he's a Heisman guy, that he's still going to be a future first-round pick, but he's proved that Nebraska is worthy of making the playoffs. He's proved that. It's all about ratings. It's all about good quarterback play. And I'll tell you this right now, Nebraska has a lot better chance of making the playoffs at 11-1 or 10-2 with a good quarterback than what they do at a bad quarterback. Okay, but that's thinking a little bit too deep into it. But he's proved to everybody Nebraska's back in a way of being competitive. Maybe not back to winning natties, but in being competitive. Now, let's say you lose against Michigan. You're still a good quarterback. It doesn't really change anything. But we can't sit here and honestly say that Dylan's great. We can't say that. We can definitely not say he's elite. How can you say quarterback's great when they've never beat a great team? It's like it's the Justin Herbert talk. Again, Justin Herbert's beat some good teams in the NFL. I just bring that up. But anyways, again, he's still a fine quarterback. But we didn't want him to be a fine quarterback. We wanted him to be a great quarterback. So if we lose on Saturday, Dylan proves to us, at least for now, that he's not the quarterback we thought he was going to be. But if he does, he's that guy. And he's proved that he is back in the Heisman talks, that Nebraska can make the playoffs, that Nebraska is a legit squad. And all the disrespect that we've seen over these past 2 years, all that can be put to bed because we got ourselves a quarterback for the foreseeable future. So again, we'll get our answer soon. We will get our answer soon, but I absolutely want to hear what you guys have to say down below. What are you expecting from Dylan? What are the keys to the game? In order for Dylan to be a productive quarterback against Michigan or to get the victory, what do you need to see? I'll just tell you right now, I need him to have a high completion percentage, have 0 turnovers, and number 3, when the game's tight, be able to lead the team down the field and get a crucial touchdown. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go Grad, go Met Rule, and I will see you in the next one.